Hi, I'm Morgan Lucas.
I'm Forrest Lucas, and this is The Skinny.
From the Fatheads Eyewear Studios in Speedway, Indiana, this is The Skinny, brought to you by Toyota, Rhino Classifieds, General Tire, and Dream Giveaway. This segment of The Skinny is brought to you by Toyota. Welcome to show number 2. Let's get to it. Morgan and Forrest. And once again, welcome back to The Skinny. Morgan Lucas here with us, along with his father, Forrest Lucas. Couldn't be happier to have these guys here. Such a big part of motorsports. In fact, I will tell you that I don't know of a single company on the planet that's done more for grassroots motorsports than Lucas Oil, certainly over Lucas Oil's 30-plus year tenure and all of the people that you've helped along the way. This, by the way, is our Behind the Wheel with Toyota segment. And I bring this up and your involvement in grassroots motorsports along inside of this segment for Toyota, because that is a long-standing relationship with Lucas Oil. You guys provide a ton of sponsorship. You also receive some sponsorship. You have a massive part of what is your network and Mav TV involved with sponsorships, being Team Lucas. It gets very complex, it gets very involved, but you guys know both sides of the table, if you will, of both providing and receiving sponsorship, and certainly Toyota has been a big part of this program all along the way.
I'll jump right on that one, because even when we were running our Top Fuel team, they were part of that. They welcomed us in as part of the family. You know, Ed Laucus, he's got a good demeanor for what he does. He's a great guy. And Andre Jackson, for years was our point of contact for a lot of this stuff. But they had a great team that welcomed us in, but they've been part of the Team Lucas program along with Geico, Optima Batteries. There's just
General Tire.
General Tire. Yeah. We have so many
Clean.
great partners. Super Clean. Yet, actually, Factory Motor Parts has been one of our great partners, and then their in-house brand of Super Clean being part of our marketing endeavors. It's a really good partnership there. But in general, that's what we try to form as partnerships. We know what's moving the needle for us from a marketing standpoint. We're trying to utilize some of that inventory to help other people do the same thing, and create a win-win situation, but bring a lot of new eyeballs to these grassroots levels of motorsports as well.
And so when you see a company come in like that, of course, their end goal is to sell cars. Your end goal is to sell oil. That's what you were alluding to. I mean, the fact that it's moving the needle for us, I think we can do the same thing to help them move that needle, to help them sell some cars.
Yeah, grassroots motorsports fans are as loyal and diehard as they get, man. The Dirt Late Model Series, the Lucas Oil Late Model Series, you want to talk about passionate fans. I mean, across the nation, just passionate fans. And Dad, you can add to this, but I watched him growing up, drive grassroots level motorsports, and that Friday, Saturday night atmosphere. It's a great atmosphere, especially if you're part of a family. You bring your family to the events, and that's across the country. And I think if more people actually get out there and experience it, they're going to fall in love with it. The racetrack that my father built in Wheatland, the Speedway out there, it is
Wheatland, Missouri.
Wheatland, Missouri. It is the most phenomenal dirt racetrack in the country.
Number one.
Great bar.
Great bar.
Usually
great bar and food.
Good bartender sometimes.
The pits are paved. There's a car wash there.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's an incredible facility.
It's front to back. Fans there. The parking is easy to get in. They have a slick track out back for for the younger family or people in between events, whatever you want to say.
Boat drag strip.
You have tractor pulls out there. They got monster trucks that come out.
Yeah, and we have the big racetrack for the
short course off-road track.
Yeah, and it's cool because not too many people get the balance between the promotional side of it. From the corporate sponsor level, but also the promotional side from the track owner and experience giving person. And Dad's had I think the vision for it. I'm not trying to blow his ego up here. I'm just saying that they packed the house down there.
Yeah, it's an amazing facility, and when it was just the dirt track, before I remember flying in there. I can't remember where we were racing somewhere, and he said, well, I got to stop at the ranch. I'm like, okay, which I thoroughly enjoy going there.
Probably Brainerd.
Brainerd, yeah, I think you're probably right. But I thoroughly enjoy going there with him because watching him call the cattle and the candy he gives them. I mean, these longhorns are like this. He's standing right out in the middle of them. I'm pinned up against the truck, scared to death because I don't know which way these things are going. He clearly knows what's going on with all of it. But it's just an amazing place, and to take to take that town really that didn't have a whole bunch going on and put something like that, to build it to be something like that. It's just, I mean, truly amazing.
Do we have time for a sidebar story? Because I got a great one on him.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what we
Got the
want to
eyebrow
hear.
raised.
We want the sidebar stories.
Well,
we want
this
the
is-
bar stories.
This is before the racetrack came to be. This is right after the ranch, like first winter or second winter after the ranch. They got one heck of a snowstorm came through, and we're out there. And there's a heifer and her calf out there in the middle of a field somewhere, and the calf was sick, needed a shot, some antibiotics or whatever it is. I'm not going to act like I know.
And
exactly
by the way, him pointing out which ones are sick.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Yeah,
Wild.
Yeah, but it's
wild.
Like, yeah, because I'm just like, oh, wait, there's something wrong with that one. But
Yes, exactly.
we're out in this field, driving out in the middle of the snow. It's like it's like a fishing story. I'm going to say it's up to my thigh, but it's probably only like somewhere in the middle of my shin, deep. But so Dad and Jack at the time, they're like, Jack's the ranch hand that was with us, and Dad's like, go tackle that calf. We'll distract the mom. All right, okay. Begrudgingly, I agreed to doing this. So I get hold of this calf, and I get it down, and about the time I look up, here comes the mom charging me. Like head down, coming at me. So I jump off the calf and get out of the way, and he and Jack come running up. Why'd you get off? Why'd you move?
That distracting part didn't look like it was going so well.
And at that moment in time, I realized where I ranked against the cow.
Yeah. Right.
All the snow would have been soft to land on when she shot me 15 feet in the air, probably.
But maybe my favorite story about that place is when you guys bought it, and you sat down to dinner with the folks that you bought it from, and Miss Charlotte wanted to know how many snakes they had seen out there before. Do you remember that story?
Yeah, I do, because that was a big thing to her all the way through. This was lots of snakes. So I'm worried about snakes.
Yeah,
So I had her convinced there's hardly any snakes. So take it from there.
He's been known to bend a couple.
So Charlotte asked the fellow that owned the place, and the ranch hand was there, says, "You guys have snakes out here?" And the guy clearly could see that was a concern of hers. So he says to the ranch hand, he goes, "Well, I've probably seen 2. What about you?" To the ranch hand, "Yeah, about the same, I bet, And of course, they're fully.
They've seen at least 2. They did see 2.
One.
I see maybe one.
It's been there 2 years, and you might see them in a day, according to where you're at.
So, Charlotte, how many snakes are out there?
Not
I've
many.
not seen any.
Oh, really? You have not seen any?
I don't take her to the snaky places.
But we're flying in from Brainerd. What I was talking about is we're flying in, and Daryl flies over, and this huge pit where they're digging the drag, drag boat track, right? And he said, "You see that down there?" I said, "Yeah, what is that?" He goes, That's a mixer plant." I go, "Wow." He goes, "Yeah, I got that and 4 mixer trucks for Charlotte for Christmas." I looked at Charlotte. I said, "Well, congratulations." Clearly, that wasn't how that went down.
On the other side of that story, I heard later on, Charlotte said, "Yeah, I own the concrete company that built this entire place." She said, "But he's yet to pay me a damn dime."
So for all those people that never know what to get their spouses,
Yes.
that line of, what do I get the person that has everything? Concrete plant, no big deal.
Yes.
Well, and if we're going to go down that road, how many people get a caboose?
Yeah, no, that's true.
That's right. She got the only caboose that I know of a lady's got. That's down Corden, Indiana.
Yep, that's right.
We're
tell that to a Kardashian.
on the local railroad.
Yeah, there's some
down
jokes in there somewhere.
Yeah, but
It is really cool. They retroed it out inside to be an office for and everything.
yeah.
Is he trying to tell you something? Is he trying to like shoot you out of the main office, or what's going on here? No comment.
And for the folks that don't know, you guys also own a railroad, right? Lucas Oil Rail Line, formerly known as Louisville, New Albany, and Corden Railroad. Mm-hmm. You saved that one.
Yeah, we did, and we use it. That's where our plan is. We have to bring in lots and lots of tanker loads. But we wouldn't have been able to have it down there if it wasn't for that. But the railroad was there, and the big factory that kept it in business, we ended up buying that too. So it all works out good. There's 3 or 4 other small companies on there, but I think we got plenty of room there. So we parked. I think we've had as much as 400 empty cars there. But
And how many employees how many people did you put to work down there in southern Indiana?
Right now we have I think close to 300 in total.
not down there, surely not.
Between the rail lines, golf
and
course,
the trucks, all the
and
trucks,
the trucks,
semis,
and
yeah,
semis, and the
shops.
plant itself. Yeah, it's close to 300.
Wow.
Yeah, if you think
Awesome.
about all of the different roles that are filled, our
Yeah,
but at the same time, close to 85% of our product that we manufacture comes out of there. And Corona still, obviously, we produce a lot of product out of there. It's
in California.
It's in California. And, as my dad said multiple times, and I'm going to use this fact here, so sorry I'm taking this from you, but what did you say? That right where Corden's at in that Louisville area, it's basically, as far as the general population, not logistically, but the general population in the United States, that's probably as close to the epicenter of those
right.
are gonna be.
I looked it up when we bought the railroad from the farmer there, or the property for building a factory there. He owned it up right to the railroad track. And but I looked up the center of the population, the center of the country is in Kansas. The center of the population is right there in Corden, right there where a little spot was that I was putting up my plant, right there, the center of the population
Wow.
of the United States.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Which is perfect because they got right before we built that, we were building it, making it all in California, but we were having to haul it all the way back there because we were hauling it to the population.
Yeah.
We started out, we were doing it locally.
You showed me your first distribution center, which I love, down there.
Oh, yeah. English, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot bigger now. We got plant 2 now. We call also.
no,
which-
you-
No, I'm
good.
talking about your house,
Yeah.
where you built in the front and had the operation in the back.
Oh yeah. That's our house. We fixed it up a lot since you saw it. I guarantee you. But
Oh no, it was well
I'm
fixed
sure.
up.
it was.
Yeah. It was amazing.
It started out as a bowling alley.
yeah.
A bowling alley, and we needed a place to store stuff and ship from, so we bought that because nobody else was using it. We got a deal on it, of course, and
Yeah, we all chuckle. I know the fans at home are going, why are they laughing? Why are they chuckling? Well, let me tell you, I want to tell you exactly why. Because there is nobody on this planet better at finding a deal than that man right there.
That's right.
He will
That's
find
exactly
a
right.
deal, and it will be the best deal you've ever heard of. And don't think you're going to find a deal like that, because you're not.
Nope.
He's going to find it. You're not.
That's the best. I love it.
That phrase is going to be like machined into a plaque.
We got a deal on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
well, we did, and fixed the one end up, and the other end of it, we put a fireplace in and put up stuff where we could live in it if we had to. And the kids, we had a lot of grandkids at the time, and they all loved playing out there. So as we fixed it up and got it nice, so it's like a really nice house there now. Put some more big bedrooms in it. It's all really nice. Then we bought 6 acres back behind it there, and we built a
Put a fishing hole.
fishing
up
pole
on top.
pond on it.
Yeah.
So it's all a real nice place.
We'll be right back after this. This segment of The Skinny is brought to you by our good friends at General Tire. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3. Make your anywhere possible by visiting GeneralTire.com today. You're also proud owners of the network called Mav TV. Certainly dedicates a ton of its time to motorsports programming.
All of it.
And have given a lot of series an opportunity to get their product out in front of people, and therefore put that tool in their box and go out and sell some sponsorship. You allow them a place to show their product, and they're racing off to the world.
At the time, NASCAR was growing like a weed. They were consuming it up. There's a lot of motorsports guys were just quitting, and there weren't any big companies owned them. They were just little guys, but their people were quitting, and their cars were quit going to them because they weren't getting anything. So I started pushing to keep those guys alive. Those guys who were broke, give them a little sponsorship, give them some oil, give them whatever it takes, shake their hand, let them know that we're here, we're going to keep it going. And we made that very successful. But also, a lot of other companies watched us, what we were doing, and they followed us in, which I knew would happen. And I think you'll find Toyota was one of them. And it's been a good story. And it's still alive. NASCAR kind of fallen off a little bit now. But we got drag racing. We're sponsoring that, a big player. I think we're the biggest player out there probably in drag racing. But it's all worked out, and we kept racing alive. How's that? And that Mav TV really helps it a lot because we are showing it all out there. If you don't get any signage anywhere else, you get something there. So we hope.
As always, the first few years, certainly a big learning curve for you guys. You're an oil company, and here you are now on a television network. But as fate would have it, as you were talking about, NASCAR was getting larger, consequently taking over more and more time. And I think part of certainly wasn't privy to be in the boardroom whenever this went down, but they had a big package on Fox. Fox owned Speed Channel, and they kept pushing some subordinate NASCAR programming onto Speed Channel, eventually all but taking over the network with NASCAR, to the point that really I think the fans were saturated with NASCAR programming at the time. But it left all of these smaller series with no place to go.
No place. It's all on Saturday night stuff,
Right.
So why go out there and go to the Saturday night track when you can go up here and sit down and watch it on television?
So when you guys had Mav TV and you were like, hey, we've got a great outlet for you. Bring your programming over here, and subsequently a lot of those series did bring their programming over, and suddenly the building blocks, little as it may be, started to grow, and here we are a number of years later, and once again, Mav TV, I think you had mentioned a little bit before while we were at commercial break, has grown as much as Lucas Oil did a year ago.
Yeah, no, it's very impressive. We've made some leadership changes with Mav over the last year and a half, and all for the better.
Badly needed.
The efficiencies that are there now are much better. The communication's very good. It's but I think the general approach to having a diverse offering of motorsports friendly things to watch. When I say that, I mean everything from On the Edge to motorcycles and just whatever it is. I mean, we have drag racing on there now. We have obviously dirt late models, sprint cars. We have pretty much anything you think of. You're going to find it. But what's really cool about that is that there's a lot of people that, in my mind, are professional racers around the country, around the world. They might not be doing it on NASCAR's level, but they're doing it for a living, and they're traveling week in and week out. They're going on to do that, and they have to have sponsors to live. And when you think about Mav and Lucas Oil and that relationship, the dynamic between the two, it's a chicken or the egg kind of thing. we already had the series. We were already creating our own content for CBS and NBC Sports and some of the other things that are around. And Mav, this is in the very beginning of it, but Mav became available. And at the time, Mav was a very interesting network.
Yes.
Think half
With some interesting programming.
Think about half-naked girls jumping on trampolines, kind of thing. Like that was, the content was a little bit gamey, and we immediately came in.
Gamey, he said.
From a family perspective, and we came in.
I remember this.
Yeah.
I remembered somebody telling me about that, and I literally flipped through the channels and saw that, and it was exactly what you said.
Yeah.
It was nothing but girls jumping on trampolines. No
Oh,
audio.
There's a story. There's a story behind all that too. Want to hear the story? How did we end up with Mav TV?
How could we not hear this story?
Yeah.
The guy came to us. His job was, people would order an independent channel, which they make them anymore, I don't think. He would build it, put it all together, and sell it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You pay him. You pay him for doing it, but he's contracted for it. So he decided he would just build one and have it there for sale, and somebody would buy it, but nobody would. So he was down there at us, begging because he's got his money tied up in it, and he needs his money real bad. So we made a deal with him, and
Did you get a deal on it?
I think so.
What kind of stupid question was that?
But he,
It's on the plaque.
well, the deal
It's
was
on the
we
plaque.
paid him part of it up front because it's several $1 million, but we paid him part of it up front, and we pay the rest of it over a period of time. Well, as soon as he felt safe, they started giving themselves a big check because they were running. They gave themselves a big check, and they brought that trash on the channel. So I went ahead and just paid them off to get rid of them. They had a fit because they wanted to stay on there and make that big check for several years.
I remember when all that was going on because maybe somebody else that's sitting in the studio wasn't real happy about what was on that channel.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Well, I mean, it was mind-boggling when you
know,
flip
right.
down through there and see
Yeah.
it. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, that's really the entire show. I mean, it was mind-boggling.
Me too.
Yeah.
First time I saw it, I couldn't believe it. Could
I
not
kn-
believe it.
I mean, if there's anything to it, it was hard to turn it off.
Yeah, well, what's funny though is our standards and morals have grown so much that some of the guys were pitching rednecks with paychecks to use for On the Edge. And have you seen this? The Barbie downhill thing, the Barbie car, where grown men get on these things. The problem is that once you try to understand what rednecks with paychecks are, and you go to their website, then you realize it's not what you need. So we declined that. Not that they wanted us, but we said no.
Good thing you didn't get the green beer out, Ken. I told you.
Right?
It's a great network, and there's like I said before, a good offering of different content, build shows, My Classic Car,
Yeah.
things like that, where you still have those other car guy staples, if you will. They're good shows. They rate well, but the stuff that we are excited to showcase, our series, the stuff that Ken, that you've worked on for years,
For sure.
that's our crown jewel of our set list, and it's nice to have it there. It's nice to be able to put that out, and again, we share that through Team Lucas with our trading partners, and as much as is an opportunity for us to showcase all these grassroots motorsports, it is a marketing extension of Lucas Oil, and something that has been beat into me, not beat literally, but figuratively, into my head since I was a child, is that it's all about selling oil. And
It's how you started this whole show off. It was all about branding.
it's all about branding. And the reality is when you have a good top shelf, like premium quality product like we have, when you can stand behind the fact that you know it's going to work, then it's an easy sell. And that's what a lot of our sales reps have. When I say it's an easy sell, is we know we can stand behind what we're putting out there. And when you think about the content that we're putting out, that we feel like it is top shelf, top quality stuff as well. And we feel very good about it being out there. And we have people contacting us at times trying to get their hands on it.
It's a lot.
It's kind of a neat thing.
It's a lot different now.
Yeah.
There's only 6 independent channels left. Only 6.
Wow.
Yeah. And, whether it's growing or dwindling, I mean, streaming is running up so fast, which you guys know about this. And the world's changing at such a fast clip.
Yeah.
Mav's going worldwide now.
Yeah. So we the AVOD option, which is, advertised video on demand, I believe is what the acronym stands for. Samsung, Roku,
Sure.
A lot of the bigs are offering that up, and now we're going in with them to these international markets. I think India is one that's on the potential list coming up. We've been added to the UK through that. I think Latin America is also coming up as well.
Ken, do you know how to speak this?
I do not, honestly. It's a technical side of it that I don't understand. I probably
No,
should
I mean,
know.
are you going to be able to speak the language when you voice over these races to go over there?
Yeah, probably use their own broadcasters. I was thinking. So
I think
I'll give it away. I'll try it, man.
I think it's
I
going to
ain't
have
scared.
those little letters at the bottom of the screen is what it probably is going to have. But the reality is, though, is that there's people craving motorsports across the world. We have great customers in the Middle East. Our rep agency that we deal with that sells over there is based here in Indianapolis. Tomad, great group of guys. They sell over there. One of their distributors in, I think he's in Iraq, and he hosts events. He hosts car gatherings, if you will, like car shows, and they have drifting competitions. Then he actually held a hill climb, a motocross event outside.
A promoter.
He's a promoter, all under Lucas Oil's banner at that point. And he's out there doing that because they just love cars over there. They love their motorsports.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So
they're
they
heavy.
need to have, and I think, once they get a taste of, the U.S.-based grassroots motorsports over there, they're going to be hooked. It's cool, it's fun, it's competitive, it's flashy, full of color, excitement, wrecks, fire.
The late models, speaking of something you can't ever read, any late model car. Have no idea who they're sponsored by.
They look cool, but you can't read a freaking word on it.
The snow plow in the front.
So many times to teach them guys how to. Nobody will do it. The one car that stands out is that old red car that we.
Earl Pearson.
Earl
Earl
Pearson
Pearson Jr.
20
Yep.
years.
The catfish, man, he's awesome.
You can read
Red,
that
the
one.
big
It's the
Lucas
only
badge
one.
on the front.
The
You
only
can't miss
one.
it. Yep.
You
I'm
think
telling
those
you,
other
It's a
guys
snow
will get
plow in the front. That's what I call the front bumper of those
really
things,
is.
And
it's like Morgan said, they got all this, looks like Johnny Rutherford's autograph. Very, what did we say?
Larry.
Very flary.
Artistic.
Artistic and flary.
that's a very 2021's way to say it. I like that. Yeah, nice touch.
Let's pause for a moment here to take a quick break. This segment of The Skinny is brought to you by Dream Giveaway. Dream Giveaway has been giving away high-end American muscle cars to raise money for charity since 2007. Dream Giveaway is known for giving away classic and new muscle and paying the federal taxes so the winners don't have to. For $25, you can jump in the game, and part of that goes to charity. You'll have a chance at winning some of the coolest cars on the planet. Check it out at dreamgiveaway.com. One of the things where it said your favorite TV shows, Family Guy, NHRA, and you've already mentioned it 2 or 3 times on
Man,
this show.
well, this is a dated one, but I like it, though, because I'm still a Family Guy fan. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
it is.
lie,
They're
yeah.
fun, right? It makes you laugh.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. My wife, for I think my first anniversary present, she got me as she was told, and I believe it to be true, a first edition, first episode script, actual script from Family Guy, autographed by Seth MacFarlane and I think Mila Kunis and Seth Green. So those are all 3 of the main characters, obviously.
Equal
for people that
opportunity
don't know.
offenders.
And, all very equal opportunity, and that's why I like the show, is because it hasn't fallen too much into the modern
Oh, no, not
cancel
at all.
culture vibe that is
Oh,
out
no.
there. It is still alive and
It's
well.
what we're all
and-
still clinging on to. There's still one left standing.
Yeah, it makes me feel a little younger sometimes.
Them
too.
in South Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they go after everybody. They
Oh,
don't,
absolutely.
They don't care who it is. And there's a great a great documentary for adults to watch called 6 Days to Show, I think. Is
Oh,
what it's
yes.
called,
Yep.
about the
really
filming of South Park, and they write a new South Park every 6 days. And I mean, it is hardcore, and they start from zero.
And truth of the matter is, I think they write it in about 2 days because it takes them about 4 days to figure out what they want to write about, and then they go in and tell their guys, okay, this is what we're going to do, and they're like, okay. You know, and
I always thought they just had a bunch of dartboards in there, and then they throw them, whatever
might.
landed on is what they would try to bridge together.
It is.
it's pretty crazy.
It is. It is
Massively talented.
It is
No.
wild.
But, good TV comes in a lot of different formats.
Yeah.
But one of those other shows that was on there as your favorite, as I said, you'd mentioned here a couple times already, was On the Edge, Lucas Oil On the Edge. The creation by Steve Grine and myself. And I remember when we went in and pitched it to you guys, and you literally said, it's almost like you guys were in our boardroom a week ago because we were just talking about a show like this. And we had been to the network. The network had cleared it for air, but we didn't have enough money to go shoot it. And you guys signed on as title sponsors, and it was the birth of Lucas Oil On the Edge. That was on Speed Channel, and that little monster show turned out to be incredible. I can't tell you how many times when it was on Speed Channel we would rate inside of the top 5 on the network. I remember one time being 3rd on the network, and it was behind NASCAR, and I don't think it was IndyCar, but it was another prominent, massive series, and we were P3 in the lineup, and they played it every week. I mean, every night of the week, because you couldn't tell time-wise what it was.
The one that stands out in my mind besides Swamp Buggies, Swamp Buggies are epic, but
Sippy Hole.
no, Civil. I mean, these guys are
That's
driving
one,
these
and
things
that's
in
another one.
shorts and t-shirts with helmets on. Like, it's like I good for you.
Did that thing pass tech?
Yeah, right. Like they look like
that-
somebody took like a giant pizza cutter.
The trailer races.
Oh yeah, trailer
Oh,
races.
that's the best. Yeah, the trailer
the
races
figure eight
are-
trailers.
Well, that's Forrest Love. He said, we'll do this. I want to see figure eight racing, short Saturday night short track fun. And that's what you said. You said it brought you back to when you were a kid on a Saturday night going to one of the local short tracks.
What about the riding lawnmowers?
We
That
got
was
some-
epic too. Those guys hanging off the side of those things like they were like flat track bikes.
And I'm telling you, Rex, those guys on those tractors. I mean, it's like,
Oh, yeah, they ball them up. They're flying.
well, they're flying, but like a go-kart, it usually disconnects from you and goes flying elsewhere. Well, those tractors would eat.
They
these
land on
dudes
top
up.
of you. No matter where you go, the tractor's right with you.
Tractors riding you to the ground. It's like,
I don't know how that sport's doing, but I feel like they need factory backing for sure. Safety incentives.
we got a snapper mower over here, and
It was fun. It was a blast to do that show for many, many years.
so one of our guests that we're going to bring in, another epic guest, is going to be the world record holder of rock skipping. We got a lot of
Wow.
questions. A lot of questions about
No,
this.
yeah. How did you perfect your craft?
We want to know: do you shine your own rocks?
Do you have a tumbler
pick up-
at
do you have
home?
a-
Right.
Do you tumble them?
How flat do you want the rock?
Yes, there's
you want a
what
little
is the
edge on it
science?
for grip. Or, I mean,
No,
is
I
there
respect.
a specific weight we're looking for?
I've been teaching my kids, and I who was the Oakland Athletics pitcher that won from Moneyball that would get
Oh,
down
yeah.
with the
Oh, yeah.
crazy sidearm? I
Yeah.
feel like I'm like looking like that, trying to teach my kids how to
Didn't
skip.
Goose
it.
Gossage?
Yeah.
Wasn't Goose Gossage the one that threw like
Raleigh
that?
fingers.
Raleigh fingers, yeah. But yeah, so anyhow, well, the shows went to hell now, so we're talking about rock skipping right off the rails.
We've got all the necessary stuff covered. Let's have a little bit of fun. Pick out. And I hate doing this to people because it's so hard to put them on the spot and then for you to come up with one of those stories. But of all the years of drag racing, is there a moment in time that sticks out? And maybe it's a favorite win. Obviously your first win at Atlanta, you had a ton of them at Sonoma. But
Hold on a minute. Atlanta,
You were there.
they weren't there. I was there. There was a tornado coming through there. Literally, tornado coming through there. The NHRA comes by on the golf carts and said, you guys need to wrap it up because all hell was breaking loose. We were partying. You need to wrap it up. We're like, it's going to take us. We're not shutting down. and we just kept on going. And that was,
Tornado meets tornado. Bring it on.
that hat is in my desk at my office. That first hat. So
Well, yeah, if I have to pick a favorite, I have a lot of great memories from racing, and I think a lot that you can talk about, a lot that you can't. A lot of great stories. I mean, Rico introduced me to some of my favorite people to meet every year or see was Dino and the guys up in Minnesota at the hockey camps. They'd bring out guys. We got to meet Scotty Hartnell and TJ Oshie. Guys like to come out to the drag races and have fun with us. But actually, one of my favorite wins was one of my last wins was in Brainerd when we were on the part-time schedule. And it was a very eventful process. I mean, everything from quick 45-minute turnarounds to rain coming in and not knowing, raining on me while I was staging the car. Kind of the crazy to remember all the stuff that happened. And Mom and Dad got to be there, made Sports Center top 10 with it. It was kind of neat, on fire through the lights. But the best part of that story, because my wife was watching on home on the streaming portion of it through AnyTrade's website. And it was really cool because I call her up. My oldest at that point was... I think he wasn't even a year old yet. And she's on his lap. My mother-in-law was there, and they're watching on the computer in her office, the littlest TV in the house, if you will. And when we won, she got so excited, she started jumping up and down and screaming. And my son just started crying. He was just terrified, just started bawling his eyes out on her. But it was just nice to know that even from that far away that she was carrying that kind of a passion for it as well. There's guys that were... flying guys, as we call them, figs, that would, they were part-time guys that had full-time jobs, and they'd take vacation time to come out and race with us, and guys that I'd raced with before when I was still racing full-time, and we'd never won a race together when they worked for me, and we had this kind of chance to make those memories that we didn't get the first time around, and just stuff like that, I think, is what's going to stay with me for the long haul. Winning Indy was great as well, to win here at home, the biggest race of the year. And to have my son and my wife there was also really cool. But there's so many. It's really hard to go back from. But
who crew chief Brainerd?
Oh, that was Brooks.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That was where it was either going to blow in a million pieces or set a world record. And
that was.
You set the record. That
yeah,
day
that was
too.
My fastest run. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we.
I remember standing
funny
there with him, with Forrest, watching it go. I was like,
well, after the second round, we were already. I think it was we lapped the motor out, so we were going to swap motors, put the next one in, and it was a quick turnaround. And one of the guys the guy that built our short block forgot to put the plugs in the block, and we basically had no oil pressure in this thing. And we knew there was oil in it. We knew the pump was fine, and we had nothing else we could do. And I was like, all right, let's go up there and do the burnout and see what happens. And at that point, ran my career best for ET and speed at that point.
So what were the numbers?
Lucas Oil.
You went over 330, right?
Yeah, 382 at like 330 and change, I believe it was, or whatever. At the time, it was really good. And up to 1,000 foot, it was definitely my best. And it was against Antron. It was one of those things where, like, that year we raced Antron twice that year. Out of 6 times I went racing, and both times we beat him, running at that point career best for me. And
I remember that day. It was wild.
Yeah, hey, Big Daddy, you got to cut me a break.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Forrest, do you have one that sticks out in your mind? You've been through so many.
When he won the race here in Indianapolis, that was 3 days, I think I stood out there. It was a 3-day race. Stood out there all day long, all 3 of those days. When it's finally come down to the last run, he won the damn thing, which was incredible to win. We hadn't won anything for a long time, and here we were in the biggest race of the year. And I was wore out. Charlotte, she was stringy hair, just been set over in
So hot.
sweat,
So hot.
heat.
Yeah.
I think a pair of cut-off jeans and a little light blouse, and we were both so wore out.
Covered in burnout rubber, both of you.
We were wore plumb out. But they got a picture of me holding, you know, it was given to me. He's too busy, so somebody handed it to me because he was a star. You know, everybody's wanting to get pictures of him in his car. So I'm sitting there holding that, and somebody give me a beer. So I'm sitting here holding this cold beer, and I got this.
And the gold Wally.
Yeah.
I got this. It's okay. Look on my face.
Yeah. We survived. Yeah.
That's great.
It was a really cool weekend all the way front to back.
Oh, I tanned up.
I got some cool pictures of mom and dad on the starting line celebrating, and you know, my wife being there with them on the starting line. But the Indy Fuel, the mascot, he's a friend of the teams, and he was up on the starting line jumping up and down. And see on this video, we had a politician, a representative from the state house here, Randy Fry. We had the mascot. We had my parents. We had both teams on the starting line. It was a pretty packed house, but somebody caught this video on the starting line from behind the group. And when light comes on and everybody starts going nuts. And it's just funny to see this giant mascot jumping up and down. But he's a big red dragon, if you don't know what he looks like. So he's very easy to. My kids were my son was terrified of him. That's the funniest part. He's not even a year old, or was he a year old, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But all that happened. But one of my best friends, Eddie Fishley, which you know, Rico and Ken, you've probably met Eddie a couple of times. But he actually now works for the company in the sales team. But he was part of the crew at that point. And Eddie and I have known each other since high school. And his dad had just survived an ordeal with colon cancer, if I remember correctly. And had a real rough go at it. And, you know, he was kind of, you know, just wasn't 100% mentally after the fact. And I mean, you dealt with it with your daughter. It takes a while to really rebound from that stuff. And so Eddie was talking. He goes, "Hey, man, is it cool if my dad comes hang out?" I was like, "Yeah, put him to work, man. Tell him to bring out some you know, scrubby clothes. We'll get him dialed in." So he came out and he was washing oil pans and helping, you know, knock headers off of stuff and having fun. I mean, he just knows his way around a set of tools. And I let him get in the car for a warm-up because his dad used to drive back in the day. So I let him get in, trying to kind of hit these milestones for him because he, you know, never sat in a car burning nitro. And then we got to win the race. And I got this really cool picture of Eddie and his dad right next to each other at the very front of the group on the starting line, fist pumping. I mean, this like total celebration. But then it's like picture 1 through picture 20 was them doing that and then coming together for this like massive father-son moment. That's awesome. Which they both have hanging up in their house. It's kind of a cool little thing. So do you think about all this stuff? Again, there's a lot of good memories from a lot of good races, and you know, it's just blessed to know I got to do it as long as I did, and great parents to bankroll my dream, and hopefully now I can make up for it working on the professional side. But again, I've had a great life. It all leads up to what I'm getting to do now. And I didn't go to a 4-year college. I went to the Lucas University, and I think
you did better.
Yeah, I think
Trust me, you did better.
It applies. Oh, yeah. It is funny though when you know somebody who's got like 2 or 3 different careers. So where did you go? Oh, nowhere. I went racing.
So the same thing with the industry that I'm in. You know, optical industry. There's all of these resident know-it-alls. I should say there's a lot. And so what school did you go to? I said, hell, I barely graduated high school. I said, I think they just kicked me out or graduated me to get rid of me. And they're like, oh, you didn't go to college? Oh, no, I wouldn't have wasted my money on that.
We should come up with
make sure.
We should come up with some obscure name for something that sounds like it would be Ivy League.
Yeah, yes, right.
And whenever somebody asks, just tell them that.
I'll come up with that.
We had, I think it was 2013-14, we had Scion sponsorship. Robert had won a championship in Pirelli World Challenge and became the youngest champion in the history of that 25-year series, and he did it in a Scion. So he had won Scion their first ever championship and first ever manufacturer's championship. So a couple of years down the road, they came out with the Scion FRS, and they asked us if we'd be interested in running one of their cars again, and we said, you know, absolutely, we'd love to. And they didn't give us near enough to do it properly. We had to develop a car and develop an engine. I'm like, this is Roger Penske stuff, not Ken Stout Racing stuff. I mean, we're little guys, you know. But we took on the project, and we actually won. We debuted the car at SEMA show, and we won the best Scion FRS at the show. And of course, they were littered everywhere inside of the show because they had just come out. And Lucas Oil all over the car, by the way. It looked awesome. And
That'd make any of them pretty.
and we pushed forward to get the car ready for the season. The reason I say this is I officially was a team owner at this point, and working directly with Scion, working with sponsorships, with you guys, other manufacturers as well that wanted to be part of the program, try and get the guys to get the car ready to go, all the logistics that it takes to get a car to the racetrack, make sure people are there, they have a place to stay, they have food to eat. I'm not telling you anything. I'm just spouting out some of the things out here. But the lessons learned will last a lifetime, and it's impossible to explain to somebody how difficult it is and how involved it is unless you step into that world and you actually do it. For you, you did it at an extremely high level. I was a low little sports car dude, but you're up running a fuel car with a ton of support. It takes a ton of people. On top of that, 2 cars, in fact, and everything that was involved with the hospitality side of things that you guys took care of. The reason I bring all this stuff up is because you were hands-on. This was Morgan Lucas Racing. You were running this, and I have to think that it was you say this because I didn't go to college, but people need to know where you went was no joke, man, and talk about preparing somebody to run a business. It had to be a wonderful foundation.
To be honest with you, when you think about that as a learning curve, it has its difficulties. I think probably the biggest thing that comes with it is I think the humbling experiences that come from racing at that level. You're going to lose a lot, not for lack of effort, but it's going to happen. I mean, if it's not your day, it's not your day. Something's going to break. Something could happen. The tune-up's not quite right. But you do appreciate the good moments when they happen. You also try to, I think, create kind of a risk management assessment in that process. And when I say that, I mean you want to make sure that I guess you're not putting yourself in a position to fail. And I'm not saying these are key business elements here because I have a ton to learn. But my point is that I think it gives you at least a stable foundation in order to I guess make the next steps of your progression.
And scrapping from the bottom, which I know you've had to do. Everybody in the industry's had to do it. It's difficult, but it makes you who you are.
When it comes to drag racing, just like a NASCAR team, or if you're road racing or whatever it is, it takes multiple people to make it happen. And in our case, it took 11 people to make it happen. And everybody has to be able to work around each other and communicate with each other. I kind of equate it to like a band playing a song without even looking at each other. They know where they need to be. They know what they need to be doing, and they kind of have this. They're just in sync with each other. But in order to get that, you have to make sure that the personalities fit, that people are involved and they're willing to buy into the team atmosphere, that they're willing to take ownership into their roles. And I think personality-wise, we had a very good group of guys working on our cars over the years. They appreciated everything that my parents had done for all of us. Even the day that we decided to park everything and sell it, there wasn't a single bad emotion or vibe anybody could have or say towards us at all. Everybody was just thankful and appreciative of all of it that has happened. And we even kept some of the guys on to run the fab shop where we still build top fuel chassis. We're still building headers and a lot of different things for the racing, but we're also building parts for a trucking company locally as well. And, we had found these people that had great talent. We're trying to give them an opportunity to do something else with those talents. But that's, again, going back to the racing, it takes a team. And I think that goes to our corporate environment with Lucas Oil, and the production side of Lucas Oil. And I say, people working on a bottling line, they have to know what they need to be doing, and they have to be responsible to the other people within that group in order to get done and make sure they're keeping up with their, let's say, quota, for example, for lack of better words. But that's a big deal, I think. And when it comes to racing, it's just a really good example. You're only as good as the people that you surround yourself with. Yeah, that team chemistry is everything, especially if you're going to chase a championship, but to have all those personalities get along. And that's why I say I just think I can't imagine a better foundation to start off with and build off of and to step into the role that you're in now, because it's really the same thing. It's just a gigantic race team. Chemistry. Got to have the teams got to be on the same page. And we have such a great group of people across the board throughout the whole company. Whether you're in accounting, whether you're part of the production studio team, or you're, putting empty bottles in the hopper on one of the lines down in Corden. You're very important. You're very valuable. And that's what we really try to do, is make sure everybody know that they're appreciated, and that we all have to work together.
Proof positive that one of the best schools in the world is the School of Hard Knocks.
The School of Experience.
Hard Knocks, yeah. Mm-hmm. Where you work your ass off, and it's kind of what I did.
You're extremely competitive, and you want to win, and you want your company to be the best. That's where your competition is. It's on a world class level. It's pretty amazing. I wanted to give a shout out to Rhino Classifieds. Rhino came on the scene recently with a bang, giving away Von Gittin Jr.'s drift truck. Rhino was created by the founder of Racing Junk because he wanted to create a more streamlined buying and selling application that allowed users to just see what they wanted to see, rather than all those ads that get in the way and random crap that no one wants. Head on over to rhino.co, sign up for a free account, and find just the car part, race car, classic car, or modified street machine you're looking for, or post your own. I've got a question for you, something I've always wondered about. Talking about all this work and how much you've dedicated yourself to it. I've often wondered in the back of my mind, what is it that Forrest Lucas likes to do when he's not working? If there's a time he's not working. Any fishing?
No.
Been a while, hasn't it?
Been a long time since I went fishing. We have a golf course, 360-acre golf course down in southern Indiana.
Do you play golf?
Hell no.
You almost had me there.
He invested in the community, and then the guy running it mismanaged it, and Dad acquired a new asset in the process. And long story short, he kept it going just for the community. It wasn't like he wanted it to go away. He wanted there to be that big thing down there. So it's a beautiful course. Front nine plays fairly cut and dry. Back nine will eat you alive if you're not ready for it. So it's a really cool spot.
What about cattle? You enjoy just being out at the ranch and being around the cattle?
Yeah, I do. Beautiful land and the cattle. I love seeing cattle. I like that. And we got horses. No, we got some nice horses.
And I know you love the land. I mean, I remember being with you at some point, and you were rattling off all the different kinds of trees. It's just something that you love.
Mm-hmm. I was just riding around in pickup trucks. We're usually not there very long. And looking at all the things that have been done, and maybe we need to do this and that, this kind of stuff,
There's been multiple times where I've called you when you're out there and you're driving around in a combine or something like that.
Not a combine very much. I would.
Baylor, I think,
except till now, I mean, I could probably turn my phone off nowadays for a while, but for a long time there, my phone was ringing all the time. I couldn't get on a tractor. I tried. Tractor or bulldozer, something like that. I love doing that. I love getting on a bulldozer.
My father used to run heavy equipment for the city of Clearwater in Florida. And I was just a little tyke, man. I don't know how old I was. Maybe I was 5 years old, 7 years old, somewhere in that area. And he would put me on the you'd run the blade over here with this handle, and he'd set me over here beside him if he had to go to work on a Saturday or something. And he used to push garbage. We were at the dump, and we pushed garbage off in a big, gigantic hole. And, that was his job. He did it every day, whatever needed to be run. So I just remember being scared to damn death because I was sitting on the fender of this thing, and every single time he would push that garbage, and he'd run about that far of the track off the edge of the hole to make sure he got all the garbage off. And I would sit there in sheer terror the entire time for 2 hours, just thinking there's no way he's going to be able to do this every single time and us not go down in that hole, you know. And I remember telling him about it. He said, it's never going to happen. He said, if it happens, he said, we just push the blade down and we'll stop it. And he said, we'll back up. So he of course, wasn't concerned at all. But oh my God,
as a kid, that's terrifying.
I was scared to death. And this hole wasn't small. I mean, it was 2-3 stories deep. You know, I mean, I was just convinced I was just going to go launched, and the whole thing was going down in the hole. Scared to death.
That totally makes sense what you're saying. But from his standpoint, that totally makes sense too.
Yep.
Because those guys do so much tricky stuff like that. So much tricky stuff.
One of the heroes that Morgan Lucas put on a page or jotted down a while ago was Dale Earnhardt, my racing hero as well. By the way, when he passed away, I lost a lot of passion for NASCAR. It's since come back, and maybe not to the same height, but it affected me massively. For sure.
Same.
But one of the other heroes that he put on there, in fact, the first one was Dad.
Yeah.
Really?
I got goosebumps saying it. You know, I felt the same way about my dad. I've had my son say, you know, my hero's my dad. He's worked really hard to help me, and I know what that feels like. And I'm sure there's an overwhelming feeling inside of you at this point as well. But I want to ask you something about Morgan. Watching him grow up, the age he is now, stepping into the role that he's in, is he hero status to you?
He would never get the position he's got if he hadn't been hero status. Very, very important. I had nobody else to do what. And I got some really good guys. I got some good lieutenants, which you got to have good lieutenants. But I still need a me, and he's as close to me as anybody could possibly get. Stinks like I do, and he will give up and do something else to do what he has to do. That's very, very important, you know. Very, very important. No, I'm really, really proud and really happy. Everybody loves Morgan. He's so likable. I wouldn't say all this stuff if you weren't there.
My head's swelling over here right now. No, it means a lot to hear that.
No, he married one of the best women he could get. She's also got business sense, very good business sense, which is very, very important to me. Instead of just wanting something, she's got something to give. Very, very important.
Yeah, she. You know, it's funny on that. Let's call it the book smart portion of my college education. You know, I say like the kind of all the terminology and aspects of things that you know I may have missed out on some aspects of that, but she and I work together, and my running joke with her is we don't have a standard couples pillow talk. We have Lucas Oil pillow talk. That's what we do, and that's it. I mean, we talk about it at night. We obviously talk about the kids. We talk about a lot of other things as well, but she is a very key part of this team, I think, going into the future. I know that she, honestly, I wouldn't be anywhere near where I'm at in my life without her. So it's exciting to have her. As the kids get older, she's getting more and more involved. And she keeps me, I think the right way to say, she keeps me on track. She keeps me very grounded with things. If I feel like I'm getting annoyed or upset or something's bothering me that I feel like needs to be fixed or addressed, I talk to her, and I find out if I'm actually out in left field or not. I talk to Dad as well about these things, but it's nice to have that person that you know has a very logic-based, common sense mind on them that understands business. Her father was a career business person with a businessman at GT&E and then Verizon after that. So she's grown up around that environment, but she's always known what she wanted to do. And I'm blessed to have her as a wife. I'm blessed to go into the next 30 years of Lucas Oil with her by my side.
Yeah, that's whenever you need that sounding board. You need that person you can rely on, that you can trust. Certainly your father has it with your mother. I mean, any story that you talk about, you don't get very far into it, and your father doesn't bring up your mother, and the way that they've tackled this business entity together, and now it's handed off to you, and I'm hearing the same exact thing from you.
Yeah. It's funny. The only thing I haven't done with my kids so far that my parents have done with me is because I brought them to work with me, and I've let them draw pictures in my office and do all the fun stuff. The only thing I haven't done is make a delivery with the kids yet. And both my parents separately, I've went on deliveries with them when I was little. I remember driving to a gas station out near Calico Ghost Town in California, and right on the front seat of a pickup truck with Mom, and doing the same thing with Dad over the years. They just you learn a lot about there's nothing that's too small or too big that you need to do and execute. And there's, as long as the job's getting done, that's what's most important. And, hopefully my kids can grow up in a similar environment to what I had the chance to grow up in a sense of learning and being around it, all of it, and the people, and having the social skills. And I think the wherewithal to have the compassion for the employees in the company that I know my parents have, that I feel like my wife and I have. If they grow up to be like that, then they're going to be, I'll be very proud of them. I'll be proud of them no matter what, but hopefully that is the course and track that they take.
I find a little bit of irony as well that Lucas Oil has started in '79, and you're approximately 6 years old, and here you are president, and your son's 7 years old. I mean, almost identical time frame.
Yeah, and to be honest, he's probably way smarter than I was. He's smart as a whip, that one. My youngest is my little mini me, and he's already eyeballing race cars. So,
oh boy,
that's something.
Golf.
No, I'm trying. I love racing to death, but it's whatever he's passionate about in life. I want to pursue that, but it's just funny to see his little demeanor and attitude and his temperament. Holy cow. It's like looking into a, time machine mirror.
Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time.
Oh, thank you.
And coming out here. And
again, you do a great job with us. So, you're a great interviewer, and it's very much appreciated.
Thanks, man. I mean, I've said it to Forrest 100 times, and I hope to say it 100 more. I can't thank you guys enough for everything you've done for our family, for myself, but it really extends into my family. My life would be drastically different without you guys. But it's the passion for the company is still the same over here. I don't know if it's become much more diversified, but I think for a long time there, I was all but the voice of the company in front of a lot of people. I've had a massive footprint on Mav TV all along the way, and
which we're thankful for.
Yeah, as am I, and certainly what I'm getting at here. I mean, I just can't thank you guys enough. The industry that I'm in is so volatile. So to have a run that I've had starting off in the early 2000s up till now, 2,500 original shows, along the way.
That's a lot of words.
It's a lot of words. It's a lot of racing. It's a lot of shows, and it's a wonderful life. I mean, I just could not ask for a better gig, short of being a driver, which that talent I do not possess. That my son has that. So. But to get as close as I can, it's opened up doors for me. You've supported my son. He's done a lot of racing. That opened up a door for me to start spotting for him, which opened up more doors. I've spotted for Dale Coyne. I've spotted for Andretti. And last year I spotted for Chip Ganassi's team and Scott Dixon at the 500. We finished second. That far from winning the Indianapolis 500, as a spotter with who Dale Earnhardt was my hero back then, but today of all the racers, if there's one guy that I would love to be associated with, it's Scott Dixon.
Oh, class act.
I mean, again, goosebumps here, but boy, what an opportunity. I have to thank Robbie Fast for that and his longtime spotter who opened up the door for me. But all of that has spawned from the opportunities that you guys have provided, and my lifetime won't be long enough to say enough thank yous.
Oh, that means a ton to me to hear. There's a a lot of people I feel like that mom and dad have affected in a positive way in their life, but you don't really ever get a chance to hone in on it and hear it straight up and across as you just said, what you said, and I appreciate that very much. It's we might have to get you to write that down sometime. We start making like a an impact book, if you will.
It would it'd be easier to write down. Then maybe I could remember it all because you just can't. You can't say enough. You just you feel like you want to do more. You know what it's like. I mean, if you have a sponsor that has helped you get to where you're going in a big way, you at the end of the day, no matter what you've done for them, if you've won everything you can win and you've promoted them as hard as you know how, it still feels empty. It still feels like it's not enough. And that's the way I feel with you guys.
Yeah, well, we're all part of a family. Like I said earlier, man. Got to have that chemistry.
That's right. We've had a great time here. Special thanks to both Morgan and Forrest. Charlotte sitting alongside for her knowledge as well, sitting off to the side. We keep referring to her. Was that the right year? Was that the right year? Certainly Carl back behind us as well, engineering and everything. Thank you very much. We appreciate you listening to the first official edition of The Skinny. Thanks for being with us here on The Skinny. This episode has been brought to you by Toyota, Rhino Classifieds, Dream Giveaway, and General Tire. For the latest in sunglasses, optical frames, accessories, and apparel, be sure to check out fatheads.com. That's Fatheads with a Z. Production facilities provided by Fatheads Eyewear Studios. All rights reserved.